to try to keep all of this as simple as possible. Now, this is the most important part of this presentation.
And this would be kind of similar to what we were just talking about. Clearly short buys here at the open, but we do get back above the New York VWAP a little bit longer than that short markup we just went over. But do we want to buy this higher? New York VWAP is now maybe flat, maybe even arching up. Lower day VWAP could be broken a little bit, but are we going long here? Does anyone hate the long, like the long?
Longs? Even with the New York VWAP under opening range low? It's going up. Yep.
For now. This is the 15-minute for that day since the changeover. This is where you're long it. Saying buyers are back in. The trend is moving higher. It's still clearly making lower highs from all overnight. This is the daily VWAP anchored from. So we are above that. But again, structure is the second piece you have to add in with this VWAP. That until we maybe take out one of these white lines, which is just a lower high, we're still falling on top. I don't want to be long it into lower highs on the higher time frame or the lower time frame. But you got to think, what's the story today? Am I long buys today? Like, what's the likelihood that this is trending higher? It's not moving higher, so why do I want to jump into a long just because it's moving higher for the past 40 minutes? That is it more likely to come back down for the next 3 hours or continue higher for the next 3 hours? Probably back down for the next 4 hours.
This is a 15-minute chart, just so everybody knows. So he's out to the 15-minute time frame, see where we're at based on the overnight VWAP, and then reacting to say, do I want to just be long because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 15-minute bars up? Like that? Like I really want to be long now when sellers have been in control half the day at least, and then if you count the overnight 3/4 of the day, you're buying it at literally the top before the next lower high. Right there. But you can flip and still make your money back.
Think about what your bias is. What's the higher time frame telling you to do? What is your trend continuation going to be? The trend to continue would be back to the downside, so you don't want to chase this long, get caught up there in a lower high from the open, wait for sellers to step back in, back below New York VWAP, the lower day VWAP, off the key level again, and now trend's ready to continue. Another thing would even be to let it retest, and you could take the second time out, but it's also really, the New York VWAP is flat, the 15 minutes may be telling me to short it, but I want to long it here on the 1 minute. Anyone that would want to long it here or go counter trend, whatever you want to call it, you'd want to get as close to that VWAP as possible because there is money to be made in that little pump up. But you don't want to just be caught chasing it too high up now because you don't know how much further it would like to continue since it's not in trend. That just gets more dangerous longing it up here. But if you can catch the break of it, you could scalp some money long out of that.
Look at how long of a base this one built, Krista. The low of day is at 11. He's trading the break of the low of day VWAP at 1 o'clock, 1:15. So it's 2 hours of information. That's a strong VWAP to use. The bigger the base, the more confidence I have in my trades. When I take a low of day VWAP trade, the one you asked about at 6 minutes of a base, these guys know I never really am in those unless I'm tilting. That's just me chasing. This is much more of a low of day VWAP you'll see me play, especially because low of day VWAP and New York VWAP are close. 2 key VWAPs overlapping like that, like previous day New York and today's New York, a low of day and a New York, double confirmation. You know, I have a lot of orders there. No, because if I have to set alerts, that means I'm not focused on my trading. I've never set alerts. I've never done that. Go for a coaching call, I just go, and I don't trade. When I trade when I'm on a coaching call, I can tell my clients don't like that. And they pay a lot of money, so I ain't going to do that. Who's laughing? Why are you laughing? You know it's true. You're going to pay a lot of money and then be like, Austin's half distracted trading NQ at 2 in the afternoon. Right. No, I'm smart enough. I turned that sound off at least, all right? I'm good at being sneaky. Go ahead.
This is going back to the point of when it's in this range, I don't really care where it wants to go. I'm thinking of ideas and theses of where I think the trend wants to ultimately take us, but I don't need to try to predict or guess the timing of it, I guess is the better way to say it, because you could try to pop the long there, then chase it short, but there's not real follow-through and continuation hour after hour. So let it get out of the range. Get new information. For this one, it's going to be a new high a day. We've seen some markups where it was a new low a day. I mean, we do have a new low a day view up there. But new information to the upside, retest to that key level, and then I'll take the second time we're ready to go continue that trend, right? Everyone and their mother knows that we look bullish now up here. I don't want to be looking where everyone else is looking to get in long because the amateur is going to chase it up there and get absolutely smoked.
Because their stop is right there. When they buy the breakout, they put the stop at the pins at the lower high. Everybody's done that trade, and then you lose. You'll find as you get better at trading, you will be selling or buying to your older self. I find that I'm getting out of trades where old Austin used to be buying.
Yeah, the trade becomes too crowded. It's too obvious. The whole herd is going to jump in there. I don't really want to be where everyone else is buying it because it's most likely that they're going to lose money, so I don't want to be in where they're at. So
Evan's the black sheep.
but this is also the 15-minute of it. Why would I be looking for shorts when we've been higher highs and higher lows all overnight, and this is that black overnight VWAP? We're still above that, pinning below it. All this chop here at the open is a pin to the daily, pin to the daily. So I'm not really looking for shorts today. Where are we? I'm not really looking for shorts today. So even though it was potentially breaking out to the bottom, I'm not really wanting to find shorts. It doesn't make a lot of sense with this trend. So I'm not chasing that, first of all, but it's not looking good for longs either. I can't really long it close mid-range here with the structure maybe falling still on the bottom. So just let it break out. Make a new high. Tell me that it is actually potentially trending higher. And then again, the next leg. I don't need to catch the first time it pops higher. Congrats. I could have timed that. Maybe not. I'll get the next one. It's just as easy. It maybe moves even further, less drawdown. So I don't need to try to catch the first trade, the perfect trade. Just trying to catch a piece of it, and then I'll rinse and repeat the next day. All right, so that's enough of the charts. But I do want to talk about some of the lack of professionalism that I think we all still go through, but thinking that you could just make money out of any move. A lot of that would be inside that opening range, inside the chop. I think this is ready to pop higher. I think it's ready to move lower. Just thinking that there's always something to do. Whether it's to your plan or not, you're thinking, well, I've read the candlesticks and I've read the charts for like 2 years now. I can make money in anything. We all fall into that, and it is easy to try to just always create an idea of where I think this wants to go next. I think it's ready to go here. But if it's not fitting my plan, I do not care. Is it probable that it moves higher, or is it just a potential that it might move here? Because I've seen it want to do that from time to time. But there's not always something to be in, and that's really something you have to become comfortable with, that you'll see me wait an hour for a pullback, and then it's telling me to get in. I wanted to short it an hour ago, but I knew if I did and I lost, that's not to my plan. I'm going to have to just feel like shit for taking something I know better than to do, and it just costs you money. I've done it too many times to know that when I go outside of this plan, it doesn't reward me. It rewards me like once out of every 10. So it's not worth it for me to try to just keep making money out of anything when I know if I could wait for this specific setup, it does make me money. That's what got me the 30-day streak. So why would I want to do something else when I know that I have better odds waiting for something else? Do we have trend? Are we off a key level? Is it telling me to get in now? A lot of it was the timing. Is it telling me to get in now? We do have trend. It is off a key level, but it's not really telling me to get in now because there's no break of a higher day VWAP to go continue the trend higher. All right, well, let me wait to see if buyers can step in and break that higher day, telling me they're back in control and we're probably going to move higher now. It's all about timing with the trend and a key level. I mean, today was super slow, but it was respecting the key levels. The timing was tough to time because there was no continuation or follow-through. And we want to be right more than you make money. That's the same bucket as just thinking there's always something to do. I think this is ready to go higher. This is just too easy. This can't possibly move lower, so I'm just going to put it on the long. I don't know where the stop loss should go, but I'm going to put it on the long. You just wanting to make money or wanting to be right more than you actually want to just be systematic and know where your odds lie and repeat that over a long period of time.
Stop thinking. Thinking is bad. Thinking means you're forecasting. I think the most important word here is he said, thinking you could make money of any move. Stop thinking. What's the market doing? React. You with me? You'll overthink yourself out of everything. You'll overanalyze out of everything, right? We've all been there. Thinking is going to slow you down. You want to build up experience so you know it like the back of your hand, and you're not thinking. You're acting. It's just part of what you do because you're asking yourself the right questions. The only thing you should be thinking about is answers to questions. If you're thinking, I hope it does this, or I think it's going to do that, if you catch yourself saying either of those, you're wrong. You're most likely wrong. What is it telling me? Yeah. Another way I would say it is like if you catch yourself thinking, I think this is going to go higher, probably need a break. I think this should go lower. Well, what is the time frame that is on? So you're thinking things of like a bias, but it's not actually giving you tactical stuff to trade off of. You're just thinking, oh, I think this can do this today. Does that make you money? That's the question. Does thinking make you money? Asking yourself questions actually makes you money. What is the market doing? What is it telling me to do? I think it's going to do... Stop. I thought it was going to go lower on NFP. And I owe $10 or $20 because you make fun bets with your gambles, with your thoughts. We're trying to take the gambling out of this, take the professionalism and put that in front of it. So professionals will say, if it does this, then I will do that. Gamblers will say, I think it should do this. You got that on video back there? That was good. He's nodding his head. All right, just making sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that comes a lot of it with those breaks of a new lower day outside the range. I think it wants to go lower here. I do think that, but I need to wait. Okay, if I can see a pullback and sellers actually defend it, I'll look to take this short off of my key level. I think we want to go lower, but thinking it wants to go lower right then and now doesn't necessarily pay me. I need it to be off a VWAP, off a key level, after a pullback, all these different things that are simple if I could just wait for it. They will present if I could just wait for it. If I jump in too soon, maybe I'll be out of risk to take advantage of it when it is my plan later on.
The guy that's up 60 G's in here today is a simple man. He's a very simple guy. He doesn't overcomplicate anything. And in fact, he says, I don't know all the time. He doesn't know nothing except what he knows, and that makes him money. If you think you're smart enough to be a quant, go work at a hedge fund. Don't do this. Because some of the guys that are loose and fast make the most money because it's feel. They build experience, they take losses, they build the callus, and they can feel, and then they can do really well. Where the other guy's overanalyzing, paralysis by analysis, he's missing trades, he's chasing trades, and he's on tilt.
One more thing is taking what's possible, not what's probable. I touched on that a little bit. It really comes down to how many times do you think this would win on a monthly basis? Not just, I think this can work out today. I mean, it looks pretty bullish, so what are the odds that it loses against me if I put on a long? I think it's probable that we're going to go higher here because it's bouncing off of this key level. Buyers defended it. The trend is moving higher. The 15 minutes tell me to long it. Okay, that's probably going to work out because it's fit your plan. It's fit your markups. You know you have your best chance to buy it then. Then that's a trade you should be in. Not it probably works out or sometimes it works out. I don't know. I think it's just it's possible, so I'm going to take it because why not? It's a trade to be in, but that's just wanting to be right rather than to make money. Is this what my markups look like? I talked about it last week on stream where those opening range plays came from. When it's in that red box we were showing, is this where my best longs come from? Because I was thinking about longing it when we were still falling. I'm like, it could move higher. It honestly could, but it's just not what my best longs look like. So you have to know what your best trades look like, of course. That could it move higher? It probably could even go higher, but I just know this is not the structure for it. There's not the parameters for it. So if it were to lose, that's a bad trade, right? I'm not thinking about if it wins, oh, it's good. If it loses, it's bad. It's just a bad trade because that's just not how it normally works out. It normally looks like the pretty trend moving higher, and I'm just jumping on the train, not trying to time when those longs are going to come in. So just knowing, could I take this? Could it win? But is this what my best plays normally look like? And if you don't know what your best plays normally look like, you definitely have to figure that out so that you could even ask yourself that question. But if you do know what it looks like and it's not your best play, you just got to fight the urge to not take it and be patient and not have that FOMO of missing out on it. Abandoning your plan for the quick profits. We pretty much touch on that, the same stuff. So not for everybody, but just quick, simple, whether you're struggling or a lull or whatever. Your new plan, just for the short term, just an exercise. Try it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You'll probably make more money.
And send them half the profits.
Yeah, or 10% is fine.
Generous.
1 to 2 trades per day. We're going to talk about, well, there's that third setup. I want to take it. It sounds stupid. It may not maximize your gains. It may not. But if you're struggling, you shouldn't really be focused on how can I make 10,000. You can't even make 2,000 right now. So let's try to just get in the green, be comfortable and confident in your abilities, right? This is just an exercise to show yourself that you can stick to your word and stick to a rule plan. That's really it. Because, okay, yeah, I said I was only going to wait for key levels. I was only going to take 2. And I've done it for like 2 weeks now. So now I trust myself that when I say I'm going to do something, I can follow through with it. All right, well, then in the future, let's add a bigger plan with maximizing gains. But if you could just simplify it to just, I'm going to take 1 to 2, really mark them up. It only needs to be when the trend is super clear, off a key level. You need a max daily loss set in. So with the 2 trades, I would probably say set your max daily loss at 2 times the risk that you're putting on. So that if you take 2 losses, you're done for the day. Don't take a third, and you can't even take a third because you're locked out now. And then you're either full in or full out of your trades, right? I want to trail it. I want to leave a piece on. I think it goes higher, and it might. But it's just an exercise for the next 2 weeks when you're struggling, you're feeling like you're missing out on gains, and you're not taking profits at all. Just go full in, full out, get the confidence from bagging wins in full, saying, you know what, I got out. I bagged it. Yes, it went higher without me, but I got out where I said I was going to. That feels a lot better than, oh, I should have got out up there. Now it's pulling back against me. I gave back profits. Now I want to trade again. It just keeps you fresh and easy. You don't have to overcomplicate things. I got out. When I was supposed to, I'll do it again later. And then just don't fight the New York VWAP, which we were looking at, which is the black one from the New York Open, and don't fight that 15-minute. If you could just do these things for the short term, you'll probably find out what your best setup is a lot quicker because you're not overcomplicating your trades by taking 6 trades. I always say if I was willing to take 6 trades, then I probably would take that setup. I'll take that setup because I could always trade later on. But it's almost like if I'm saying today you only get 2 shots. That's all you're allowing yourself. Do I want to waste it on this one right now? Nah, it's not worth it. I only have 2 bullets today, so I'm not going to waste it on that. It needs to look like this because I'm really only having 2 shots today. But if you're saying, well, I don't have a cap on my trading, I could trade as much as I want, then why not take the next one? Because you have all the rest of the day to take on more and more and more. But if you're saying, I only have 2, is this worth it? Okay, it is worth it. Then go ahead and take the trade. If it's not worth it, well then if you wouldn't take it, if you only get 2 shots, then you probably shouldn't be in it. Simple as that.
Got a picture of that? Good. Yeah.
I'm full in on like drawdown. Like letting it play out to the full stop loss because my idea is not dead until then, and we saw a couple markups of that. It's did I though? I might have.
I might have. I'm probably the one that said
I
that.
don't think I did.
I'm probably the one that said
I
that.
don't think I did.
Yeah, you're blending, I think, a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to do more of what he's doing. Take good trades and trust your stop. I think if you look at my stats I showed you, I'm holding losers longer than winners. That would align with me taking full stop and not closing those trades. It also could align with sometimes closing a piece of the trade and then letting that trade have more time to come back to profit and washing it, you know? But I think where I'm cutting it is when I take drawdown hot and don't get stopped, but it comes back to entry. I will cut that for the small loss. I won't cut it on the way down. I like if I'm long, I won't cut it as it's going towards the stop. If I took the trade, I'm comfortable with the risk.
Yeah, you shouldn't be too oversized that you're like stressing, oh my God, I'm in draw. If I cut it here, I could stop the bleeding for only 500 rather than 1,000. You should be comfortable with the risk you have on that. If you take that full loss, you're fine, your account's fine, you're still mentally fine to take that next trade. Otherwise, you're just too heavily sized. And it does suck to go through the drawdown, obviously, but a lot of the time, which is why I came to that conclusion of I have to just see the idea through. Too many times I would see it pull back, I pull it, now it's back at entry. Do I get back in and maybe potentially take a second loss because it's still not working out? Then that's more likely that I'll tilt that day because I just entered 2 times on the same idea without it ever being wrong technically.
Right.
And now I actually am wrong twice. So it's really just about I've seen it play out like this before. I'm willing to take the full loss because I have enough risk that I could take another trade and just get it back. It's not the last trade I'm going to take this week or this month that I'm like on the win streak. I took 45 losses, but there was 80 wins to it. If you could just handle the loss and not be emotional about it, then you're more willing to or you're able to take that next setup that is clear, that I didn't have a losing trade, and that next one just be pure shit because I didn't like the loss. I was able to say, oh, fuck, I like that trade, but then I wait for the next one that is just as good, and it probably won because it was a good setup, right? The thing I did on that streak there, and I still sometimes do it, is handle the loss as well, which it was just I had confidence in the system. I mean, it's easy to be confident when you're getting fed all that green, but when you do take losses, it's really just a matter of, well, if you knew you should have been in that setup, then that's fine. It's a healthy loss. Just take the next one, and then, oh, it was green, so keep trading. As long as you're fitting to that plan and that rules that you set yourself, the outcome has no like play in how is the trade good or bad, because then you're just obviously going off of the outcome in hindsight.
You can go with the wider stops too, like in conditions like right now with the volatility, it's dying down, but it was greater. Wider stops have helped me. Like the one short he had where it's playing around, I don't have a lot of patience. I just told you how fast I am. So I'll blow my load and get in short real quick, and I'll have a stop loss at that high, and I will sit through the drawdown, and he won't. But we're both in the same trade. We both will make money often. So I'm going to go with the wider stop and be more comfortable to sit through, and I'm going to just let that thing go. I'm not going to cut it soon because I know we're in volatility. I know that means bigger ranges. I know that means I need bigger stops. So I need to be willing to sit in it and let the idea be truly invalid. Even if that means I was at 50-point stop, 40-point stop when the volatility was really big. But when we're moving 200-300 points in a day, what are you supposed to do? Your 15-point stop is 1 minute. Yeah, like it's not going to happen. You want to put the QR code up?
Yeah, I think another simple thing that you could ask yourself, like when you're in the trade, just to detach yourself from it. If you weren't in it, if you were looking at someone else being in that trade unbiasedly, the best you can, would you want to be in the direction that you're in? The likelihood that you'd say, "Oh, this I'm in long in drawdown. I wish I was short." You probably don't wish you were short. You just wish you weren't in drawdown in
point.
your price.
Yes.
That's just a matter of you're in drawdown. Someone
Yes.
bought it 5 points lower than you and they're floating to break even. They still love the longs. You just hate your long because you're in drawdown. So just detach from it saying, my price is just red right now. But do I still like the longs from where I'm long? Okay, yeah, you probably do. You're just detaching, oh, I'm in red. This doesn't look good anymore. This is going to lose. It's going to go short. Probably not. So it's really just detaching from it unbiasedly the best you can.
Give him a round of applause, everybody. Great job.